Hello everyone, and welcome to History of the Ancient World. Today, we're journeying back in time over 5,000 years ago to the sun-drenched plains of Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This is where one of the world's first great civilizations was born, Sumer. But what was it really like to live as a Sumerian? And let's peel back the layers of history and find out. Imagine waking up not to an alarm clock, but to the first rays of sunlight filtering through a reed window. Your home is a modest house made of sun-dried mud bricks, cool in the summer heat and warm during the cooler nights. Most people lived in bustling cities like Ur or Uruk, with narrow, winding streets packed with people, donkeys, and the sounds of daily life. The city itself was a marvel, centered around a massive step pyramid called a ziggurat. This wasn't just a building, it was the heart of the city, a temple dedicated to the city's patron god or goddess. The Sumerians believed these gods controlled everything, from the harvest to the flooding of the rivers. So, what did you do for a living? Well, if you were like most Sumerians, you were a farmer. Life revolved around the agricultural cycle. You'd spend your days in the fields outside the city walls, tending to crops like barley and wheat. The Sumerians were brilliant innovators. They developed complex irrigation systems with canals and dikes to control the unpredictable rivers, turning the arid land into a fertile paradise. This agricultural surplus was the foundation of their entire civilization. It meant not everyone had to be a farmer. This led to a diverse society. You could be a craftsman, a potter shaping clay on a newly invented potter's wheel, a weaver creating textiles, or a metalsmith forging tools and weapons from copper and later, bronze. The marketplace would be a vibrant hub of activity. Picture it, merchants haggling over prices, trading grain for pottery, or wool for imported timber and precious stones. The invention of the wheel, another Sumerian masterpiece, revolutionized transport, making it easier to move goods on carts. And what about the elite? At the top of Sumerian society was the king, who acted as the god's representative on earth. Below him were the priests and priestesses, who held immense power. They managed the temples, which were not just religious centers, but also huge economic institutions, owning land, workshops, and employing vast numbers of people. Scribes were also highly respected. They were the masters of cuneiform, the world's first known writing system. Using a reed stylus, they would press wedge-shaped marks into wet clay tablets, recording everything from laws and religious texts to simple receipts for grain. Think of them as the accountants, lawyers, and historians of their time. Their ability to read and write was a superpower in the ancient world. Let's talk about family and daily life. Family was the core of Sumerian society. Marriages were typically arranged by the parents, and contracts were drawn up on clay tablets to formalize the union. A typical family meal might consist of barley bread or porridge, accompanied by onions, lentils, and dates. Beer was the most common drink for everyone, even children, as it was often safer to drink than the local water. It was thick, nutritious, and a staple of their diet. Children learned their future roles from a young age. Boys would learn their father's trade, whether it was farming, pottery, or something else. Girls would learn from their mothers how to manage a household, cook, and weave. Only boys from wealthy families had the privilege of going to school, known as the aduba or tablet house. It was a tough place. Students spent years learning the complex cuneiform script, and discipline was strict, but graduating meant a prestigious and well-paid career as a scribe. The Sumerians also had a rich cultural and spiritual life. They loved music and poetry. We have discovered ancient lyrics for hymns and songs, and depictions of people playing instruments like lyres and harps. They told epic stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh, a tale of a legendary king's quest for immortality, filled with gods, monsters, and profound questions about life and death. This wasn't just entertainment. It was how they explored their values and made sense of the world. Their religion was polytheistic, with a pantheon of gods and goddesses who were often human-like in their emotions and behavior. They could be jealous, angry, or kind. People made offerings at the temples to keep the gods happy and ensure the prosperity of their city. They also believed in an afterlife, a gloomy, shadowy place called the Land of No Return. Funerary rituals were important to ensure the deceased's spirit had a safe journey. Of course, life wasn't always peaceful. Cities often fought with each other over land, water rights, and resources. Sumerian soldiers equipped with bronze helmets, spears, and large shields would march into battle in organized formations. The invention of the chariot, first pulled by donkeys, gave them a significant military advantage. So the life of a Sumerian was a life of hard work, innovation, and deep faith. They were pioneers in almost every aspect of civilization. They gave us the city, writing, the wheel, law codes, and monumental architecture. Their days were governed by the sun, the rivers, and their gods, but their ingenuity and organization laid the groundwork for all the empires that would follow in Mesopotamia and beyond. Their world might seem distant, but the legacy of these ancient people is still with us today in the very structure of our modern lives. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey back to ancient Sumer. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to History of the Ancient World for more deep dives into the past. Let us know in the comments which ancient civilization you'd like to explore next. See you in the next one.